Hey, what's going on everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, and especially in the wake of the last few days with regards to the Incursion campaign, I want to talk to you all about specific teams that I've had in the back of my mind that I think I need to warn you about not building. Now, this video is going to be more designed for newer and maybe some mid-game players. If you're a veteran like me or other players like me, you probably have already gone through it and you probably already had to build these at some time or another, but this is a little bit of a warning because I think some of the teams that I want to cover in this video they're obsolete, but also you should not even touch them with a 10-foot pole. So if you want to know who these guys are in no particular order, then let's get this started. So let's boil this down. Alright, so starting this video off, and this probably doesn't need a whole lot of explaining, but I am going to do it anyways, is going to be Hand. Now, why would you ever consider Hand? Well, there's actually a couple reasons. One of them is that the minions can be used for the Death Scourge event, but more about that kind of down the line here. But largely Hand is for the Relic Hunt Flash event. This comes around once a month, and it's for Catalysts. Now, this is highly obsolete, so obsolete that I'm struggling to put this into words. Now, the rewards that you get for this event, which requires various star levels on hand, is shit. Now, they updated it once a long time ago, and this is basically what you get as a guaranteed reward. You get 60 advanced basic catalysts for purples, you get 100 SBCs for orange, and a bunch of, all of this is so bad because you get so much more of this, like, just generally playing the game. Like, event milestones will give you hundreds of these, and so this is completely pointless. This needs to get updated, like, ASAP somehow, or I don't know, some sort of, like, version 2 of this. I don't know how they're going to do that, but anyways, to add teal catalysts in this, because this is one of the worst Flash events in the entire game. And so I just really wanted to kind of pop that off first. Now, if you actually just by attrition, through playing the game, it's fairly easy to clear. So I would not ever spend resources or, spend energy to actively farm any of these characters whatsoever. Nobu, though, yes, is part of the Underworld team. I realize I have my 163,000 because I was building that team for a little while. And so Nobu was reworked a little bit, and alongside Hand Blade Master and Hand Archer. So if you do happen to get the star ranks on them, just through pulling, you could probably clear this very easily with very limited investment, though, with those 3 characters, because honestly, it doesn't really matter too much. It's just such a garbage event. Anyways, don't build Hand. Don't spend energy on collecting their shards. It's just a load of shit. So, moving on to the next one. Okay, second group up is not necessarily a team as such, and you might see where I'm going with some of these teams is Nowhere Heist. Now, this is a tag that is set up for the Nowhere Heist Flash event. Oh boy. So it uses Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Invisible Woman, Kitty Pryde, and Doc Ock. All of them which have not been reworked. The best character on this list is probably Doc Ock, but honestly, I hope that he gets a rework sometime in the near future, but the rest of them are complete horseshit. So you do need them at 7 yellow to complete this event in its entirety. And what do you get for your troubles, dare I say? And the reason why this is on the list now is because of what we learned from the Incursion campaign that opened up, is the fact that you can farm red stars. You can farm dark promotion credits, albeit, fairly rarely, unless that gets changed down the road. Who knows? We don't know what kind of changes are going to be added to that before it goes live. But that is still a significant, thing here. And what do you get in terms of completion rewards for this? Regardless of the first time rewards, the actual completion per month is pretty garbo. You get 7 attempts on this. And so that's, off the top of my head, the quick math, 105 dark promotion credits once a month. That's equivalent to about 10 red star orbs at the 10x rate, which is awful. Maximum of 10. You're probably gonna get more of them, honestly. And you get about 210 Elite 7 credits. I think it takes somewhere like 7 or 8 months to get, maybe more. Was it 10 months? I don't remember now. To actually get an Elite 7 orb. 12 months? Regardless, you know, red stars have been so devalued that this is not worth it at all. So again, just like the hand, don't go out of your way to collect these characters. Now, the problem is that some of them are actually legendary characters. Invisible Woman and Star-Lord and Doc Ock are all legendary characters, which require you to have 15 other characters, which you need to unlock those ones at the 7-star level. So all of those characters, in this instance, Doc Ock is X-Force, I think, right? And then Invisible Woman, it's been so long. Invisible Woman is Sinister Six, and Star-Lord is Guardians and Ravagers. So for any of those, do not go out of your way. Kitty Pryde, part of the Astonishing X-Men, is so obsolete as well. At this point, none of these characters are worth your time. So this one's in the dumpster bin. Don't touch any of these or their related characters, really. Okay. Actually, for Star-Lord, you could touch some of them, like Cosmo, I guess, and whatever the other ones that are Guardians. The rest of them garbage. Moving on. Okay, and I promise this is the last group of Flash event characters. There's actually another reason why I'm bringing this up as well, though, so bear with me. So we have Wakandans here. Now, there are 7 of them, including one legendary character, including Shuri. You may notice that I actually have a fair bit of investment into Shuri. Now, that being said, I did use her for Dark Dimension 5 to unlock Dormammu. At the time, she was kind of like the 5th best choice, I think, for the legendary lane. So it's not that I really wanted to, it's just that that's how it happened. Nowadays, you know, if you're doing that kind of lane, there's so many there's the Horseman, of course, as well. And then there's the trial character. So all of these are characters that you can use to unlock Dormammu and Dark Dimension 5. I'd especially go for the trial characters because eventually when you get to Dark Dimension 6, they have the non-Horseman legendary bullcrap. So Wakandans and Chaos Theory particularly, it's pointless now. Now that I know what we know about the Incursion campaign coming up, and the fact that you can flat out farm 5, 6, 7 red star characters. Now, granted, it's not every single character, but there's like a good 50 plus characters that are in there. Which I'm assuming is going to come back in some form like that. Also, within the Incursion campaign, if you watch my video, you can, like I said before earlier, you can farm dark promotion credits, and you can also farm silver and gold promo credits. What does Chaos Theory give you? That exact same shit. So, this is at tier 7, by the way. You get 20 silver promos and 7 gold promos. Guaranteed every month. That's 60 silvers and 21 gold. Not to mention that you get quite a bit of this just in playing the game itself these days, that when you stack on and you consider the Incursion campaign coming back, this is absolute horseshit. So unless they update this, I don't know what they're going to do with it. They've basically made Red Stars obsolete, which means Chaos Theory in itself is also obsolete. Even though they have the War Dogs variant, I actually never really bothered to gear them up that much. I don't use them at all right now, and I'm doing just fine. So I'm testament to the fact that you never really needed to build your Wakandans at all, because I barely use them. Now, one other place that you can use Wakandans that maybe we'll talk about a little bit as well is the Death Scourge event. It's the Death Scourge event? It's the Death Scourge event, yeah. So that's the notes 5 and 10 for them. And the reason why I don't think you need to do it for that is because it's having its last pass soon, and then it's going into the new permanent version that we don't even know what the hell that is in terms of the scoring mechanisms for that. So we don't even know if you're going to even need these characters. We don't know if that it's even necessary to do this. And so at this point, I don't think it really matters to have to gear these characters. Any of them. All of them are pretty... Actually, sorry. Killmonger might be the only one that you might want to consider because he actually is also usable for the Payday event, which actually is good. And we're not going to be talking about that in this one because it's actually the best Flash event in the game, and it's coming around pretty soon. So Killmonger on this list is the only one worth getting stars on because Payday is good. He also does the other ones as well. He does quite a few of the Flash events, but regardless, Chaos Theory has lost a ton of value. I used to consider this event near the top, and now it's pretty close to the bottom next to Relic Hunt and Nowhere Heist. So all 3 of those are circling the drain in terms of importance. So that's Wakandans. I don't even think you need them for the Death Scourge either. Moving on. All right, Bionic Avengers. This one's going to be a little bit shorter, probably. What kind of uses that are they right now is, well, we don't have the full group of the Project Pegasus out yet, but they're on the way. Bionic Avengers are not very good in any other game mode. Why is this even being talked about? And that's because also, just like the Wakandans, they are teams 5 and 10 for the Death Scourge. And I don't want to give people a false impression that it's worth actually gearing these characters, because I don't think that they are. In terms of their value anywhere else aside from this, it's very low. And the reason why, because we don't know how you're going to score on the more permanent campaigns. We don't know if, say, for example, that you could just do high difficulties and do 4 nodes, for example, on like D8, D9, something like that, and then get away with a high amount of score to be able to get shards for Archangel when it goes permanent. That way you can bypass the need to have... This is the whole reason why on the trials they actually have the team that you need on node 2, because you were able to bypass these on higher difficulties on the other Horseman Scourges without having to use the actual required teams. So for that reason, there's not much else to use for Bionic Avengers. They're pretty garbage in other game modes, and they can only maybe kill like weaker things than them. None of the characters individually are very good either. So Bionic Avengers, circling the drain if they're not already. Don't build them. All right, and this one's going to be pretty contentious. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comments down below. However, the next team up on this list of don't build and don't touch is New Warriors, or in this case, New Warriors. Now, I know what you're saying, that, well, we need to build Deathpool for Apocalypse. Okay, that's 1 character out of 5. I'll let that pass a little bit. The rest of the 4, do not bother. Now, I'm actually regretting the fact that I had, I could even rank up Firestar, but honestly, I'm really regretting that I put that much gear into Firestar. They're not a terrible team right now for people who have them. But for people who haven't really started building a ton of stuff for Cosmic Crucible, let me tell you that at this point, we're having all of the Masters of Evil pretty much farmable, and, Kang is even in the Premium Orb exclusive, so it's going to be a bit of an easier time for you to get them, the shards for them. And that is a much better use of your resources if you had to choose a Cosmic Crucible team. We're going to have more coming out, honestly, pretty soon. I think the next team to come out is a Cosmic Crucible team. I think that now, because we already have the Tech Raid team, if we are getting Norman Osborn, it's going to be a Crucible team. And so I don't think that you want to focus on too many of the old ones. I strongly believe that Masters of Evil is a better team than New Warriors. You can fight me on that. I mean, I'm not Masters level Crucible, but the people who are going to be watching this video, this is aimed at those people who are kind of more new and mid-game players who don't really know, what teams that they should be focusing on. And I'm telling you right now, you're probably going to get much more value out of Masters of Evil than you will New Warriors. That being said, Masters of Evil has Ultron. But, Dark Dimension 2 does not take very long to clear, and you'll have him unlocked in no time flat. He'll be at 7 yellow and, whatever red stars that you get him at when he unlocks. I forget how you get that actually now, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, Masters of Evil, much better team. And also, for the usages of New Warriors more broadly, a lot of people did use Cloak and Dagger in Dark Dimension City, but I think more and more now that's not really required anymore. We have, with Secret Defenders, we have a lot more city choices now than ever before, and I think we're going to have even more next patch, and especially when more city characters come out, we might get the city villains or whatever, that team that might still be a tech team, possibly for Crucible or some mixed Sinister Six. That would be really fun, and they're all city-based, and so Cloak and Dagger is not really as needed as much. As you can see here, I'm doing just fine. If I could get my materials back on like Firestar and Gwenpool, I would actually do that. Cloak and Dagger, they served me at the time, of course, but I don't take them up any further anymore. So that's New Warriors. They're circling the drain too. All right, and we're going to do what I'm going to call rapid fire round, which is a couple of teams that I want to bring up that I don't think that you should be building for a variety of reasons. Now, A-Force, don't touch them. The only reason why Photon is good, obviously, because she's part of Secret Defenders. For everyone else, don't make you think that, especially if you're a new mid-game player, don't think that A-Force is relevant. They aren't. Don't build them. Dark Hunters. Not sure why I'm even bringing this up in this video, but I just want to make clear that they're not worth it either. They are a war team, and they're pretty obsolete at this point, so new and mid-game players, anyone else who hasn't touched it at this point, don't bother. And finally, we're going to end off here on Tangled Web. Now, this one might be a bit controversial as well, but I'm actually going to say that other than Spider-Weaver, don't bother on Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Man Noir. Bit of a shame because actually the duo of 2099 and Weaver are not too bad, but I think at this point in time that we really need to consider how the age of a character and how much you're actually going to use them more broadly. I think Spider-Weaver, obviously you have to for Apocalypse, but aside from that, I don't think that the value for 2099 anymore is worth it given the age of him and where I'm actually actively using them. Yes, they're okay in Cosmic Crucible still, but longer term, I think that if you haven't built them yet, that you're not going to see a lot of return on investment on this, and so I have to say, Spider-Man 2099 and Noir get the poopers for me, but obviously Spider-Weaver, you know, is someone that you're still going to need to build. And that's pretty much it. Now, I did cover a lot of different teams here. I didn't cover all of them, but I covered some of the more, what I would say, relevant and things that people have been asking me about. I've been trying to cover teams that are kind of within the last 18 months, some things that I think that really people should be avoiding, and especially the Flash events came into particular attention for me, especially because of the release of the Incursion campaign. So I didn't cover everything, but hopefully, you know, some of this might help you, especially you guys out there who maybe are deciding on, like, what I should be doing, you know, what should I do and not do. I wanted to cover some of the newer teams as well, because some of them realistically are traps. We really need to think about things that are directly in front of us or just behind us, you know, and focus on those. There are some exceptions for that, but normally you want to kind of be forward facing, not backwards facing. And if you look too far in the past, you'll just, you know, you won't have the resources to do all this, and you really need to focus on the new stuff that's coming out your way. So yeah, hopefully some of this was helpful, and if it was, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you fell into any of these traps, especially if you're a mid-game player. I know, again, like you saw in my roster, I built some of these teams now, or sorry, I built them then, but I wouldn't do so now. So there's a lot of these that, you know, I just would not do if I was starting over again. Anyways, that's going to be the end of my video, everyone, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.